I'm going to do a live with Gail from Gail's Southern Living and Tina. Oh gosh, I've forgotten her channel. I'll link them both below next week. And I thought it was going to be this week anyway, so I turned up for what I thought was going to be the live early, and turns out not so much. So I thought, well, this is a good opportunity for me to test out how to do a live because I've never done one. And so here I am. So I'm in Australia, in the Hunter Valley, and it's 6:30 in the morning here. And yes, so this is we're looking out the window behind me, and oh yes, this is actually I could show you around a bit. If you'd like me to. I've got myself a cup of tea ready. This is my favourite cup. This is my Dancing Cows. I do like a good cow cup. So, I'm not sure if anyone has turned up or not. I might try and pull up the chat, or if there is any chat, on my other device, and that way, actually, I'll just go grab another device so that I can see if anyone's chatting. Oh, I've got a thumbs up. Thank you, guys. There must be somebody there. Oh, there's. I've got 2 viewers. Hello. Can someone make a comment? Someone says hello. Who's this? Lashua Journey. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry if I'm getting your name wrong. But welcome. Thank you so much for turning. So, there's the second person. This is so exciting for me. I've never done a live before. Well, what can I talk to you guys about? Anyone got any questions? Because I suppose that's what I'm here for, to answer any questions. Let's see. Okay, I'll tell you a bit about our situation here. The property is 30 acres of land, and beautiful little valley, small valley with some flats between. Thanks so much. So we don't farm it. We'd class it as a hobby farm, and so a hobby farm. So it's really basically just a big house block, except in a rural location. It takes us about 45 minutes to get to town. We've just recently, we used to have to go through, there used to be there is a private road that services several blocks up the valley, and where it turns from a private road to a public road, there was a gate, and with saying private road and everything. And anyway, just recently we've changed that gate into a cattle grid, and oh my goodness, that has made such an enormous difference to travelling into town, and Tristan also, and Nadia taking when they're taking the kids to school, you've got to there's no school bus going to the local primary school, so they've got to travel in and drop the kids off, and or Ivy off, and drop her off and come home. So that's 4 times a day they'd have to go in and out and open the gate and stop. And if it's raining, then it's pretty miserable. So it's really lovely to have a cattle grid there now. So that's been a big change, actually, just recently. So pretty excited about that. Yeah, so we've got 4 generations of people on the property here. We were doing there's mum and dad, and we help look after them. They want to stay here as long as they can. They're in their 80s now, and then there's Kathy and I. We're the daughters of the owners of the property, and then my son and his family have just recently joined us, which has been an absolute delight. It's just been so wonderful to to have them with us. Just seeing those, being able to see those children every day, rather than I suppose we'd be lucky if we saw them once a month previously, because life is just so busy for the young ones these days. They have other plans and whatnot. And it's a trek to get out to see us from where they were previously living. So yeah, so we're thoroughly enjoying having them turn up out. Having them with us out here. So yeah. So, what else can I tell you about? So yes, of course, being here we live in Australia, and being in Australia, we are in our autumn season. About half my viewers are in from the northern hemisphere. So of course, you're in spring, but we're in autumn here, and I love the autumn. The temperature's lovely. I much prefer autumn, winter, spring are my favourite seasons, because we just so yeah. I can see I've got 2 people here in watching at the moment. Do either of you have any questions for me? Anything you'd like to know about? All right. What else can I talk about? I'll talk about mum and dad a bit. Just their history. So when dad's from traditional, his parents or his father came from Finland, and his mother came from England, and all their families. So his dad was a young man when he came over with his brother from Finland. His mum came over with oh, thanks, darling. Yes, and they it's an interest. Yeah, so his dad was on on a block of land on one street, and they called often, if you're the first person to own a block of land or live in a place, then they often call that street that you're living on after your family name. So his family had one block of land, and his wife, Dad's mum, her family had another block of land on the intersecting street that my grandfather's block of land was on. So the 2 streets are named after the 2 families, and they got together and they got married, and Dad was their only child, and Mum is one of 7 children. So she has and I think that was Dad enjoyed the fact that Mum had a lot of children, a lot of family on her side of the family after growing up as an only child. So, yeah, it was very nice for him to be surrounded by a big family. And Mum grew up, she There was a part. It was the family was a party all the time, basically, and they grew up. Both of them grew up on rural properties. Um, yeah, Mum's dad was a mechanic as well, the local mechanic, and then they had a fruit orchard, and then they did chickens as well. And of course, all the kids helped out, um, do, doing everything. Doing everything around the farm, and it was I often think of Mum's mum and just how busy, what an enormous task she had with 7 children, and what an amazing woman she was. She knitted a lot of the clothes for the children. So Mum was born in the 1940s, and so we're talking around that time. Cars, there weren't a lot of cars. Like, it was a big deal. Lovely. Yes, it was a big deal when Mum was growing up, when they got their first car, because they had a horse and cart before they got their first car, and she tells a story where the 7 of them were jumping up and down, shouting the name of the and all the numbers on the number plate of their first car, because they were all so excited about that they had a car. And it's interesting to me to think about how much life has changed in the, when I was growing up to when Mum's growing up, and now to when Ivy's growing up here now, and when, of course, we're in the computer age. And oh my goodness, has life changed in those 80 years? It's just amazing to me, Yeah, I remember getting our first colour TV. That was a big deal. That we got our first colour TV in the 1970s, and which was huge. And of course, that at that stage it was the late. We were just starting to hear about computers, and a friend of mine, Jenny Joyce, was at the her dad had a computer, and that was a big deal at the time. And I would go over to her place, and we used to play text adventure games on her dad's computer. And so you looked at a black screen, and you were watching. And it just told you a line of text, like, you're in a room, and there's a large chest in it, and there's doors to the north, south, and east, say, and you had to do 2-word responses to the game, and, like, go east, or inspect chest, or things like that. And you had to draw your own map for the game. And so, yes, just thinking about how far games have come. You'd like to go back. Yeah. Well, they were much. Social media does worry me with the young ones. The online bullying and stuff. Ivy's got all that ahead of her, and Ty, of course. I somehow I feel that girls have it harder. I don't know if they do or not, but it's just so easy for information to get spread around, and it's hard to ignore. Hard to ignore what people say about you, even if that's not true. Or so, but mind you, I'm on social media here with the YouTube. So be kind to me. Yes. We've got 3 people now. Love to say hello to the other people if you'd like to come out to chat into the chat. The kids are just so wonderful. I think that, this is their grandmother talking, and of course, I am not at all biased, but my grandchildren are brilliant. I'm sure they, I'm sure they are way above average intelligence-wise. They're just such little bright sparks. Ty's vocabulary is amazing. And he loves to. Actually, they both love to talk. No, Ivy's very shy when you first get to if with strangers, but with someone she knows, yes. Oh, hello, lovely to see you, and the angelic gardener. Okay, yep. Thank you very much for coming into chat to say hi. So I am going to be doing a live chat with two other ladies next week, the same time next week. I was a week early, and so I decided to do a test live myself, and this is it. So this is my very first time trying to do a live, and I must say it wasn't as hard to set up and start as I thought it might have been, But often the things are, aren't they? You build them up in your head that it's a big deal and it's difficult to do, but it wasn't that hard. Thank you very much. Yeah. So yeah. Do you have any questions? That you'd like to, or a topic you'd like me to talk about? Hey, here's my mum. Mum, would you like to be on our live? Oh, here. Mum said she'll come in and she'll chat too. Oh, lovely, lovely. Turned out, Mum, I was turned out I was I'm a week early for my live with the other ladies. So I'm doing a test live. I'll just move across next to Mum here so we can both be in this picture. Here she is.
Hello.
Here's Mum.
Who am I talking to?
We've got 4 people watching us now. Actually, could you tell me where you are from? That'd be interesting. Are you from Australia too, or are you from another country? So we've got, it tells me on the screen here that we've got 6 people watching.
Oh, right.
And one person's given me a thumbs up. So
all right.
Thank you very much.
I can't see the screen.
No, that's all right.
I'm almost blind, so I
Yes.
can't really see the screen.
Hello, everybody. Mum's still in her jammies. USA North. No, okay, lovely.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Right, okay. Talking to someone from America.
Yes, yes, we are. Yes.
Good.
I was going to tell you about how incredible I started telling you how incredible I thought Mum's mum was, because I suppose I saw more of her, or she lived longer into my adult years than a lot of my other grandparents, and so Marnie had 7 children, and she would. Yes, obviously had to do.
6 girls and a boy.
Yes, and knitted a lot of their clothes, and clothes she didn't knit. She would have. Did she make?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She's
So
a very skilled dressmaker.
Yeah. So most of their clothes were handmade. Every night, of course, she got the meal ready, but she'd make a handmade ice cream every night, and for the family. So every night the whole family had ice cream, freshly made ice cream. That just blows me away. What other things did she have to do in her daily life?
Well, it took her all day to make the ice cream. She'd start off with the ingredients in the morning.
Yeah.
And then at lunchtime she'd whip it, put it back in, and then it was ready to eat.
Put it back in. Did they have refrigerators?
Yes.
Yeah. So you did.
That's my memory. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
We didn't have any screens though. There was no internet.
no.
In fact, no TV till I don't know.
Yeah. So in the evening they'd listen to the radio. That was the entertainment, was it? Or
Well, we played games.
Yes.
We played
the family is
word games.
yes.
We could all play 500 by the time we were 5 or 6.
Yeah.
So yes, cards and so we always
Scrabble. I know your
Yeah.
dad was a good was keen on Scrabble, wasn't he?
Yes, we were all had very happy times. There were enough of us to make our own fun. We lived out on a farm, so we had to.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember that Mum had told me once that they made their own tennis court, and they went out and they harvested the sort of the gravelly sand out of anthills to make the base of the tennis court, because and I thought, wow, so it's such a big project, to go out and to get all that sandy gravel from, I don't know how many anthills you had to raid to get all that material for the base of your tennis court.
So we can't hear any of them speak.
No, I've just got we just get a little text at the bottom.
Okay.
Yes, it's just you and me.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Or next week it's going to be me and Gail and Tina.
Right.
Yeah. 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 So what else about when you were growing up, Mum? What you your dad was the local mechanic and farmer at the same time, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. We had until I was 7, we had a citrus orchard, and he also had a garage.
This other lady just said that she grew up in Jamaica. Where are you living now?
Right.
You're not in Jamaica at the moment? Sorry, Mama. You were saying about your dad?
Anyway, yes, we had a citrus orchard, and he'd go to the garage and sometimes wouldn't get home to midnight. And this is why Mum sat up waiting for him, and that was when she did. And she could knit so fast that you couldn't see her fingers move.
Really?
Like a sort of a blur.
Yeah.
She was at the
and
front.
because I remember as an older lady that she didn't watch her fingers during the knitting.
No.
She was it just
They
happened.
went flat out.
Yeah.
I was always fascinated by that.
Yeah.
Growing up.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Definitely.
one we had a citrus orchard, and we had this enormous flood. Was it a Rimba roundabout? It was where the roundabout is now, and we had an enormous flood, and the water came right up and covered all the orange trees. Well, this wasn't very good for them, of course, and a lot of them fell off. Well, Dad was he was away on a trip at the time, and when he got home, she says, "Oh, we've lost all our crop." He said, "No, we haven't." He said, "We'll be able to salvage some of them." He wasn't too concerned. My dad just took everything that happened in his stride. There was never any problem. It was always another day and something to do to correct it. Yeah, so we had a lot of fun as growing up. We all, as I say, we made our own fun. It was had a wonderful childhood, and yes.
Oh, yes. Lasha's saying that she's now in Florida. She grew up. Grew up in Jamaica and then moved to Florida.
Right.
Oh, you're moving back to Jamaica in a few years for the humble life. Yeah. I can understand that. Totally. Yeah.
Well, that's what we've done, isn't it?
Yes, indeed. Yeah. So we, Mum and Dad started off on farms themselves. And when I was born, they were living on a farm. When I was about 5, we moved to Sydney because it's very hard making making money as a farmer. You're lucky if you break even.
I think we only made a profit. I was there for We got married and we were on the farm for about 5 years. And I think we only 1 year we made a good profit when tomatoes were really good price. And it was only 1 year in 5. So other than that, it was virtually just break even and working very hard for it too. So we moved to Sydney, and Carl became involved in real estate. He was selling real estate at the local real estate agent. So we spent the next, 10, 15 years there in Sydney. But I think we both hankered for the country, and we bought this property, 30 acres, in 1975.
Best thing you ever did, Mum.
Well, I never dreamed that both my daughters and my grandson would end up living here with us. So I feel very blessed. In fact, I'm fairly disabled at the moment. I can't walk very well and I'm almost blind. But I'm sure Carl and I couldn't be here if we didn't have the girls here with us. And I've just had my 84th birthday yesterday. So I'm going pretty good, and I'm very lucky to have my girls here helping.
Yeah, we're yes. So we've had the property since 1975, and it was a weekender at that time. Yeah, she is. She's an amazing mum. And happy belated birthday, Mama. Thank you. So we came up here while I was Kathy and I were growing up and going through high school. We came up here every second weekend, so that thank you very much for your birthday wishes for Mum. She can't see the screen. So we'd come up every second weekend, and Kathy'd bring a friend and I'd bring a friend, and we would bring our animals as well, which at that stage was a German Shepherd dog, and our cats. We brought our cat, one or two cats as well. Two cats at one stage. So this is a carload of people and animals, and at one stage the dog had 6 puppies. So we had 4 children, 2 adults, 7 dogs and 2 cats in the car, and we'd come up for the weekend.
So we had a combi van, which did hold a lot of people.
Yes, we did. We did. Yeah, I have very fond memories of that combi van.
I remember one night we built a bit of a shack here. It was a roof. At one stage, it was just a roof with an upstairs, and we slept upstairs, and you had to go up a ladder. Anyway, one morning, Sue woke up in the loft, and beside the cat had brought 1.5 rabbits beside her sleeping bag. The cat had come up the ladder with 2 little rabbits, eaten half of one herself, and had one there for Sue for her breakfast too.
Yes, because it's obvious, really. I was a much bigger animal than she was, so obviously I was going to need more than one rabbit. Oh, goodness me. The things your animals do for you, hey?
Yes.
We love our animals, and we particularly we've planted the property here to attract the birds. We love the birds, and the gardens around the house are specifically planted to bring in the honey eaters, as well as just habitat for the little birds. We particularly like to encourage the little birds. They're just so sweet. We get beautiful little superb blue fairy wrens that we make fat cake for, and we've got cage feeders. I'll just show you, turn it around the screen and show you the one that's just outside the window here. Will it let me do it? No, I don't think it will. I'll turn. Oh. There, that feeder there. So inside that little cage there is a is a sort of like a well, we call them fat cake, which is like a slice of fat and rolled oats and besan,
Honey and
chickpea meal and honey, all equal proportions mixed up and then made into a slice. And we thank you. Yes, the parrots are beautiful too, the king parrots. Yes, the Arthur follows the car around the property and in hopes that we're just about to put out some. Oh, hello, Gail. Lovely to see you. I was I'm doing a test live because I misunderstood and thought we were doing our joint live today, and when I realised that Tina had another visitor on. It turned out, and I thought, well, I would do a live anyway and just do a test by myself. And I've got Mum here beside me.
Hello, Gail.
So Gail's going to be doing the live with me next week. So Thursday, I think it's your Thursday next week. We're on Wednesday morning, so we're is it Thursday where you are, or is it sorry, it's Thursday morning where we are, but I think it might be Wednesday still where you are. So the time difference, it gets a bit yes, the time difference gets, yes, that's what I thought. It gets a bit confusing, but that's all right. It's good to have a practice. So yeah. So when we bought the property here in 1975, there wasn't a tree between the tree line from each side of the valley. Yeah, Wednesday 5 p.m. Yeah, gotcha. When you see the videos of the property, every single tree has been, well, planted or self-seeded itself since we bought the property. Thank you. I've got a bit of a hair loss issue going on, and I often wear a scarf to disguise that. A meetup, righto, lovely. Sounds interesting. I'll look forward to checking up on that when you post it. I know, yes. So there's you might notice near those ginkgo trees there's an enormous pine tree, and they're bunya pines, which is a native Australian pine, and the pine nuts are as big or bigger than my head, and they do have pine nuts in them that you can eat. They're a bush food that the Aboriginals like to eat in season. Obviously, very seasonal. But you've got to beware of those trees when they're dropping their nuts, because my goodness, that it could kill you on the if you were underneath it when it dropped. So yeah, we have to be. We're very aware that they're lovely, but they're a bit of a hazard. We're now second thinking as to whether or not we've planted our biggest one in a wise position. But anyway, there's a bit of family dissent as to whether or not that one should be there or not. But of course, Mum and Dad have the final say. Yeah, definitely. But the trees are magnificent, and it's lovely looking at them. But there's two that are much more out of the road, and there's one that our traffic, or our, what do you call them, tracks. One of that we always use when we traveling around the property. One goes directly under one big tree, so yeah, a bit hard to avoid that one in season. Yeah, so Actually, I want to put out soon a video on how we prepare for our bushfires. And part of being prepared for the bushfires is the planting that we've done around the house, and the brick the stone wall that's around the house as well, because if there is a fire coming up, we're very, very aware of the possibility of bushfires. And if a fire, comes up through along the grass and hits the stone wall, the heat and the flames of that, well, the flames will stop at the stone wall, and the heat and sort of, comes up and swirls up the rock wall, and then like a wave hitting the wall. And so a solid wall like the rock wall that we've got around the house is actually effective to, I think it's about 3 times its own height of the wall, in sort of protecting and bouncing back that heat and the flames from a bushfire approaching. So the wall itself is definitely our first line of defence. And then we don't have any native gum trees inside the house yard, because they are full of essential oils, the eucalyptus oil. And when a big bushfire gets going and is coming along, they are just a bomb of flammable oil that's just waiting to go up. So we only have deciduous trees inside the yard, and the deciduous trees are actually a bit of a fire retardant, because they shed their leaves obviously every autumn, and so in summer, and get fresh leaves in spring. So in summer, those leaves are full of water, and rather than the oils that the native gum trees are full of. So yeah. So we so if you've got the deciduous trees around your house properties, then they shield your house basically with a leaf blanket, with lots of that's right. So yes, do not plant gum trees near your house. That is my recommendation to you. So, and we've got this is around the main house here. We've got a path around the whole house, and we don't have any gardens right up against the house. We do have lots of pots, which so we can blow behind the pots, and we don't have litter and flammable materials up against the house. The pots are ceramic rather than plastic, so a lot of thought's gone into how we prepare the property for bushfire season, because it's a big concern. Hey, Kathy. Oh, look. And Christine. Hey, Christine, lovely to see you. Christine and Kathy, where are you from? Germany. Christine's from Germany.
Lovely.
Lovely. Kathy, what are you from overseas, or are you from Australia? Anyway, Australia. Kathy's from Australia. Might be our Kathy. That puppy does look familiar. Anyway, so I was just talking about Christine's from Bavaria.
Right.
Yeah. So, and then of course we have garbage, those Otto garbage bins. We've got about 3 or 4 of those arranged around the house and over near Kathy's as well. And they're full. We have them full of water so we can just bail water as a last ditch effort. And we've got on one fire reel on Kathy's house, and we've got 2 fire reels on this house, and a dedicated tank. How big would the water tank be for the firefighting tank? We've got a dedicated tank of water for firefighting
5,000
purposes.
Gallons?
Gallons.
Litres, what do I mean? I get
Litres.
Yeah, it's not litres. I don't know. I'm not sure, darling.
Anyway, it's a pretty big
I'm
tank.
still thinking gallons, I'm afraid.
Yeah, it's a pretty big tank of water that's completely it's creek water that's been pumped up here. So we can, which has a little firefighting tank on, pump on, so to give us, good pressure. So we can empty that tank of water in as a last ditch firefighting effort if we need to. Now, having said all that, we've had the property since 1975. There's only once have we actually had a bushfire come through on our property here, and that was really interesting. That was about the year Tristan was born, wasn't it?
Yes, 1994.
Yeah. So and the hello. Tiggsy enjoys gardening.
Mm-hmm.
Lovely to see you. Wait a sec. Have I missed any comments here while I've been talking? Hello, Grey Gum Farm. Hello to you too. I have some rainwater around the house just for gardening. What a different perspective I'm gaining. Yeah. So we've got a couple of tanks up on the hillside that are for gardening. That was creek water that we pump up there, and that water isn't just for gardening. We also do the laundry and the toilets and the shower and the laundry. From the creek water. So a lot of our water needs are met by our creek water.
Filtered through sand.
Yes. It's I did a video on how we treat our creek water. If you are interested in what we go through to make our creek water clean enough for us to shower and wash and do everything with. But yes, I was saying, yes, so we had the bushfire go past the property in 1994, and the day before it arrived on our property, it started further up the valley. So it was starting further up the valley and then coming down the valley. And the day before it was on our property, there was 13 fire trucks in the valley fighting the fire. And then the day that we didn't leave the property, we decided I wasn't here. I was heavily pregnant with Tristan at the time, and so I stayed at our house where we were. But who was on the property that day?
Carl and I and Judy and Pete came up. My sister and her husband came up to help.
Yeah.
And yes, we were.
Hello, Bella.
Yes, that was pretty scary day.
Yeah.
But it wasn't real fierce here at our property. It sort of went under the gum trees, and after it passed through that night, the whole hillside was all these burning stumps, but the tops of the trees were still green. It wasn't real fierce passing us. We were very lucky because it was not a wildly windy day, which made a big difference. Some other parts of our district were very heavily burnt, but we were just lucky the day it went past our house. And yeah.
But it's interesting. The Fire Central Control deemed it the day it was going past our house. They deemed it was too dangerous for their fire crews to be in the valley. So they pulled them all out that day. But yes, no, we felt safe, didn't we? We were well prepared.
We have very wonderful neighbours. The Andrews boys, they were, well, 20 years younger, very spry. The Andrews boys were and Carl, my husband, and Pete, and they were out early every morning during that week, and just checking on the fire and putting out anywhere where it was
doing a little bit
up,
of back burning towards the fire.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So we were pretty lucky, and we haven't had that happen. Well, for over 20 years, nearly 30 years.
Yeah.
But we're always conscious. It's come close once or twice. It's
just a couple of years ago. It was just there was big bushfires all around our area, and it came to the ridge of the hill just that we're looking at, and but it didn't come down, and we saw the blue and red lights, flashing lights of the fire truck come and put it out. So, and we were thinking, because we had Tristan and my nephew was here as well, and they were concerned about us, so they came to stay on the property to help us fight the fire if it got to us, and.
I think they're a bit disappointed that they were all fired up to
fight the fire, and it didn't get to us.
They're putting it out. He says they're putting it out. Hoping they had to dash out and do the job.
Yeah.
They're very funny.
That's the young ones for you. Pretty funny.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Yeah. Well. So we've got 5 people with us now, Mama.
Yes.
That's
Isn't the internet amazing?
Yeah, it is. It is.
To someone.
These people across the world.
Yes.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah. All right. Well, I might wrap up there actually, and thank you all for turning up in the chat, and to join me today. And so now I sort of know what I'm doing for next week, because when I'm doing the live with Gail and Tina. So I hope to see you guys next week if you're available. That'd be great. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Okay.
You can have the Zooms where you can hear them.